It's a lot bigger, it's a lot bolder, it's more of a bully, there's a lot to do.
It was during the premiere of The Star Beast where I heard Russell T Davies say something that I couldn't quite figure out.
So now we're doing 2 series at once, and that's 6 series. It's busy, but
it sounded like there were 2 shows ongoing, but I wasn't quite sure if they were talking about doing the first season and handling the release of that and working on the second season at the same time. As it turns out, it's actually 2 shows. So we've got this thing with NCUTI GATWA. It's not Doctor Who. It's some Disney MCU show that has Doctor Who on the title. The second show, what is that all about?
I just felt like lucky enough to be seen as a trans person in something so huge as Doctor Who.
Let's get into the article. You can see it's from the Radio Times. Doctor Who's rumored spin-off title and production start date emerge online. They ask, will the Sea Devils be returning? Of course, originally, they were involved in John Pertwee's Doctor.
Yes. I can't fix myself to anything.
And then some bull happened with Jodie Whittaker nobody watched.
Anywhere. Or anyone.
The spinoff is called The War Between the Land and Sea will start shooting on March 4th.
So now we're doing 2 series at once, and that's 6 series. It's busy.
Here we go again.
This, of course, carries forth the fact that RTD wants to have a Who-niverse, a whole universe of not Doctor Who that has Doctor Who on it, based around NCUTI GATWA. With David Tennant still in the wings, but don't worry, the introduction of Jason Noble.
Listen, you. I would burn down the world for you, darling.
The 20-year-old guy who wears a dress and pretends to be 15 years old is going to be pivotal to all of this.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
Davies has talked about wanting a Who-niverse for a while. It's part of the reason apparently he came back, other than all the money being paid up front by Walt Disney, who has no money to give anybody. But hey, this show appears to be a much cheaper way for Disney to create content and lose money than if they did it themselves.
Put a chick in it, make her gay.
The Sea Devil spinoff is not the only spinoff coming for this show. While confirmed details on what exactly these spinoffs will include have been thin, there have been rumors about a spinoff related to UNIT, especially after Gemma Redgrave's return as Kate Stewart in the 60th anniversary special. We saw that in the episode The Giggle. That was where bi-regeneration happened. That was where Donna Noble got a job working at UNIT. We also got a scene for the next season of Not Doctor Who, which is going to be on Disney Plus, where Jason Noble in a dress ran and jumped into NCUTI GATWA's arms. I'm going to postulate this, and I don't think it's a stretch. There is going to be a UNIT show. That UNIT show is going to have the character of Donna Noble, but really the show is going to be about the adventures of Jason Noble. Why?
I think representation is so important, and if I had Rose growing up, it would be a completely different story, I think. I think representation is what we need and what the younger generation needs.
Russell T Davies has spent a lot of time talking about how important it is for him to normalize things. To normalize things as part of the message of this show.
To feel like they can do it too, you know?
The messaging of this show not being for adults.
And I often think the characters and the action are for the adults and the messaging is for the kids. Actually, it's that way around.
The messaging is for the kids. Well, what type of messaging would that potentially be? Be a good person? Work hard, study in school? Don't do drugs? No,
Absolutely, and actually it becomes a vital part of the plot that Rose contains the he and the she and the neither and the both, and that's a new future. That Rose goes beyond words, beyond definitions.
What I find really troubling about this is if you're an adult, you can do whatever you want as long as, number one, you don't hurt other people, and that especially includes children or animals. What you do in the privacy of your own bedroom, if you want to play dress up, go ahead. I don't want to have to know about it, though. I'm not going to be there to validate that. I'm not going to approve. I will tolerate it. When you start going after kids.
And it is important. I think that visibility thing, I said before, is like, as you were saying, if you grow up seeing this stuff, if you introduce these images to people happily and normally and calmly when they're young, happily and normally and calmly when they're young,
A line has to be drawn. Now, apparently, we live in a world where letting kids decide what they want to have chopped off of themselves with a scalpel is just fine.
Absolutely, and actually it becomes a vital part of the plot that Rose contains the he and the she and the neither and the both, and that's a new future. That Rose goes beyond words, beyond definitions.
Especially tweens and teenagers, and I can't imagine growing up now. I grew up in the 80s.
Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
Now we're entering a new place where a whole new money-making venture is being directed at children. There is a lot of money to be made in a lifetime consumer of drugs that let them keep up an illusion of being something they're not. Doctor Who, in bed with Disney, what do these two things have in common? Both of them are a little more than marketing arms for the World Economic Forum. Disney just announced that they're bringing in a filmmaker from the World Economic Forum to do Star Wars. So it's not really a conspiracy theory anymore, guys. What I want to do is, for the remainder of this video, is I want to interchange what Russell T. Davies is saying about this show, and then I want to replay the real world outcome of that messaging directed at the kids.
I think representation is so important, and if I had Rose growing up, it would be a completely different story, I think. I think representation is what we need and what the younger generation needs to feel like they can do it too, you know?
And now I've done it, and Bojack, I don't like anything about me.
And what the younger generation needs to feel like they can do it too, you know?
When your voice drops from taking testosterone, it doesn't go back. I did take hormones. I took them for a little over a year, and I actually had my approval letter to get top surgery, and I was working on scheduling that, which is when I decided it wasn't what I wanted anymore.
Absolutely, and actually it becomes a vital part of the plot that Rose contains the he and the she and the neither and the both, and that's a new future. That Rose goes beyond words, beyond definitions.
But there's nothing wrong with you, physically. You've got the kind of looks that make other girls mentally ill. So stop it. You don't need any plastic surgery. You're perfect.
And what the younger generation needs to feel like they can do it too, you know?
This person transitioned from female to male, back to female, and as you can see, there's still facial hair and
feel like they can do it too, you know?
That to me is very, very sad. She was beautiful.
There's the gags and the action at the top, and then there's the messaging somewhere in the middle, in the bottom as well.
And the characters and the emotion.
Of course.
Yeah, and I often think the gags and the action are for the adults and the messaging for the kids. Actually, it's that way around.
I recently detransitioned, probably like a month and a half ago, and I've been actively living detransitioned into a woman for like 2 days now. I was never uncomfortable with my gender. I was uncomfortable with, I'd say, my relationships with other people.
Messaging for the kids, actually.
Sometimes videos like this can be a little heavy, a little off-putting, and for that I'm sorry, but this is what I consider important. You have a good one.